Hey guys, welcome back to our weekly crypto wrap up. And so we know we had a very, very volatile month for the month of September. And we're going to do something a little bit different today. And I think this is really important, which is we know historically the month of September is considered a bearish month overall for risk on assets. And so today, instead of us diving into many different altcoins, we're going to include the DXY and the S&P 500 for specific reasons. So guys, we're going to jump into this by starting as we do every week, which is with Bitcoin dominance. And what we've been paying attention to is what's been going on with price action. So for everyone that's new here, I'm gonna go ahead and explain exactly what Bitcoin dominance is. And essentially it is the weighted market cap dominance for Bitcoin against the rest of the market. So essentially what it's saying here, as you see where price is currently at 41.27%, that means that Bitcoin has a 41% dominance over the entire crypto market itself. And so, what we had been paying attention to here in the last few weeks is we knew that this decline in price that we had was going to retest these areas of support, which it did. And so, we had been monitoring this once again for the last few weeks. And we finally got that retest of this bottom area here that we were looking for. And once we met it here, we got a sharp reversal. And now we're back above this range. And essentially, we are still climbing higher. We want to see if we can successfully get above the 41.37% resistance area. And if so, then I'm expecting the 42% retracement. And so, what does that typically translate into for price action? And what I mean by price action is movement and volatility of price moving either up or down. And so what we are looking at here based on what's going on is if price is able to hold this area, then we could get a retest of this area here at our next level of resistance. And resistance typically means where price is going towards in a upward direction and or increasing in value, and you get what's called an order block in those areas, usually where institutions have a lot of liquidity and or orders. And so this is our main play right here. We want to see if this price is going to hold, and if so, then we're going to go and retest this area right below our major moving average. And of course, again, for terminology purposes, moving averages, this is typically a set number which can be simplified or exponential, which measures the accumulation of data over a specific time period, and it averages out the price action between that time frame. So what we want to see once again is if price is going to hold in this area. And if so, then we're going to retest here. And if not, then we can expect price to come back lower. And so what does that mean, guys? Even though the crypto market is sliding, aka bearish right now, that Bitcoin may not see as much of a price depreciation as we would see, for example, with the altcoins. And so, what that's going to translate into is what we're going to jump into next here. But this is our play, guys. We want to hold to reach the next level of resistance. And if we don't hold, then we're going to pull back lower. And that's pretty much our play that we're expecting to see to come into this following week, coming into the new month. Okay, guys, so that's Bitcoin dominance. And as you guys can tell, I'm a little congested right now, but we're going to make sure we get this done. And our chart of choice is the Altcoin Index. So what is that, guys? So pretty much just like what we saw with Bitcoin dominance, the Altcoin Index does the exact same just for altcoins. And what this is pretty much measuring for us is what is the allocation of altcoins and they're essentially overall weighted against the market. And as you look at the market structure here, you can tell that it pretty much looks like Ethereum because Ethereum pretty much is king of altcoins. And so what we happened to have was we had this rally that we see play out here, which is why we have this little yellow arrow here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that, guys. Let's see here. All right, let's get rid of that. And what we were looking at here was we had this retested resistance here when we saw Ethereum run up to over 2000. And what happened since there was we've been having these lower highs where price has been showing us that we don't have the momentum to continue higher at this time. And instead, we've been trading very much sideways here for the last few weeks. And in its attempt to push higher, we keep getting hit with resistance, which is right here at our moving average. And so if we are seeing the Bitcoin dominance increase in value, then we expect the opposite to happen here with the altcoin index. So what does that translate to for price action again? That we may see the altcoins, not have a favorable week. And what that could translate to is prices actually going lower. So that means in general, we could see the crypto market itself go lower, but we could see altcoins suffer more, decrease in value more than Bitcoin. Is it to say that it's going to happen this week? Not necessarily, but we will always pay attention to what data comes through. We pay attention to what news comes through and what kind of reaction we get in price. But that's what we're looking at thus far, considering once again that Bitcoin dominance is going up, that if it continues to go higher, we expect the altcoin index to continue sliding down. And so we just have to pay attention to what type of news we get this week, once again, as well as in what price action does for us. Give or take, there is some level of support right here at the 1770 level. And if we just come back and retest here, wait, always wait, be patient when data is being given to you as far as in how price is going to move. But that is our play, guys. We want to see if we are going to get a retest of this area and if we're going to slide lower, or if we get a retest of this area and we never cancel out another retest. Is that possible? Given Bitcoin dominance, given what's going on with the rest of the economic environment with crypto right now, I'm not too favorable on this expectation in the future. Would we have a retest of this area? Very much possible. But in the meantime, let's see what happens here in the intermediate. So guys, that is the altcoin index. So now we're going to jump over to Bitcoin itself. And so what's going on here? So we've been in a bearish market pretty much almost a year now. And what has happened recently here over the last few weeks since we had that flash crash capitulation down to 1776, 1775, and we created what's called an ascending wedge. And what that typically does is when anytime you have price action drop below support. For example, we saw price drop below support here and it created a lower low. What you tend to have happen is you have a reaccumulation of price to retest the previous areas of broken support that is now resistance. And we did that. We fell lower over here. Let's see, come back here. Fell lower here, had some sideways consolidation before dropping lower again. And we hit almost that area of support again, but we had some bullish price action, which came back and basically retested the area which it fell from this ascending wedge pattern. And what is happening now is we're getting very, very tight in these areas. And if you notice, guys, when we tend to trade sideways tightly, we get a big move. So we want to pay attention to see if we are going to get a big move, which is, something like given that Bitcoin dominance is going up, are we going to get something like this? That is very much possible. Is it to say that it is 100% absolute? No. And you'll understand why once we get into the other charts. But we know ultimately we want to see prices come down to 13K, between 13 and 15K. That sounds scary given where we are right now. That sounds scary considering if we're going to depreciate that much, where is the price of our altcoins going to be? But we also must be very sound when it comes to what information is being provided to us for the charts. And that is to say that we are still in a bearish market. And so we're going to get really great retracements. And unless you are a trader, then you want to just sit on your hands and be patient. But we want to see what happens here, considering that we are very, very tight right now. Are we going to get a pop higher, or are we going to get that pop lower that we've been looking for? And we will absolutely have to wait and see what's to happen. But ultimately, like I said, the goal is here 13K, between 13 and 15K before we get the ultimate bottom and or stabilization of price before we get some better looking conditions to invest. Hey guys, so that is Bitcoin. Okay, so now Ethereum. So much like what we were looking at the altcoin index chart with Ethereum, we had this massive run up to almost retest areas of resistance at 2000, 2100, and we rejected that. We ended up making a lower high. And since then, we've made this pattern. To show you guys something here really quick. So this is called, okay, that wasn't the ideal one I was looking for, a head and shoulders pattern. And what does that typically paint for us? That is, you have price, in a bearish rally, go up and make a top, a local top, which it did. Then you see a break of support at the neckline and a possible retest. And so this here created our right shoulder for this head and shoulders pattern. And once we saw this, we were very much in the know that we were going to experience more bearish price action. So now what we're looking at here is much like the altcoin index. It's in the middle of kind of nowhere. And so what we like to do is pull out our fib tool to see exactly where we are. And we're currently sitting below a significant area of support at 1305. Oh, sorry. Yeah, a significant low of 1305. And our next area is at 1222. And so if we're looking at what price is doing right now, it's trading sideways once again. And so we want to see how strong is this area of resistance here at 1305. Are we going to trade sideways a little bit more before we make a decision to pop higher and or pop lower? And higher, I wouldn't expect much. But lower, there's a lot of potential lower. And so now we want to pay attention to, once again, what is Bitcoin dominance painting out? How is that going to translate to Bitcoin, as well as how would that translate to Ethereum? So we want to pay attention because we're literally in between two levels of support and resistance. And once again, like I said in the previous chart, when we have these tight ranges of price consolidating, we tend to pop one way or another. And so allow price to pop and then wait for follow through price action before you make a decision for what you want to do. So guys, that is Ethereum. We are going to keep an eye on that. Okay, so now, guys, this is one that we haven't watched before, but I want you to understand why this is important. So considering that the way investor sentiment looks at crypto itself, it is classified as a risk on asset. And so it's very comparable price action wise to the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is one of our stock market indexes. And what we've been experiencing, much like with crypto, is a decline in overall value in the stock market. And what we happened to experience here in the last week was we got a breakdown of major level of price, which was right here at 36.38. And we closed lower on the higher time frames, which is not ideal looking. So what is that to say, guys? If we know that the crypto market is following price action from the stock market, and we are getting bearish price action on the stock market, that can translate once again to bearish price action in the crypto market. Meaning that even if we're getting these relief rallies in the crypto market, that may be something that is not sustainable, and we can expect lower prices. So we're paying attention to what is happening here with the S&P 500, because if risk on assets are still not seen as valuable from an investment standpoint because of the macroeconomic conditions that we're currently in right now, then we have more people wanting to be in cash than in assets, because there's no value at this moment. So when we look at this time frame ways, it looks a bit scary, which is there isn't really a lot of support between where it broke below and 3,200. So give or take, there is some levels here, like right now where we're at currently, but there's a lot of room to the downside. That's not to say that that's going to happen tomorrow or anything of that matter, because as we know, the markets don't go straight up and straight down. There is some pullbacks, some retracements, some relief rallies that we experience, but understanding that we have this bearish momentum happening, that we can expect lower prices with the crypto market. So guys, I want you guys to keep in mind that if you want a great understanding of price action, what's going on with the crypto space, keep an eye on the S&P 500. That's going to give you some insight to what we can see happen with risk on assets, including crypto. So guys, that's the S&P 500. We close bearishly. We might, consolidate here at this level, maybe even a slight retest before we start to slowly grind lower, which could mean bearish price action for crypto itself. Okay, guys, and then our last one for today is the DXY. We've brought this one up quite a few times in our videos because it is a indirect inverse to the crypto market and the stock market itself. And as you see here, we're on a weekly time frame. A few weeks ago, when we had this bullish wedge, descending wedge, sorry guys, descending wedge pattern paid out, and we broke out, we have been on a tear since then. And what have we seen globally happen? What's been going on? Every foreign currency that trades within or against the dollar has seen substantial decreases in value. We saw the British pound decline rapidly last week. We saw the euro continue to grind lower, Australian dollar being able to do the same. And what is that to say? That's to say that because the dollar is holding strength and is in a bullish market structure, that because foreign currencies are declining, the dollars continue to increase in value, hence having a direct effect on the crypto market and other risk on assets. So what we happened to see happen last week was we had this touch of 114 area, and we closed below that, and we're currently trading at 112, 195. So if we go down on a smaller time frame on the daily chart, we're sitting still really, really bullish. This entire move here is bullish price action. So unless, it's always going to be an attempt to retest the high. We want to see how strong is this going to last. And or so eventually we will have to retest this line. But that's not to say that that's going to happen this week or anytime soon, because we have a lot of bullish price action. But I would expect that when this does happen, when we finally get the reversal in the dollar, then we can expect, our lovely crypto market, our stock markets to gather themselves. But in the meantime, this is bullish price action. And so you want to keep that in mind, that if you happen to see these relief rallies in crypto and relief rallies in the stock market, it typically means that the dollar is correcting, meaning it's retracing from a local high that it just created, to be basically equal itself out, balance itself out. And we would just want to keep an eye on that. So until we get a change of structure in the DXY or the dollar index, that we're expecting prices to continue higher. Is it to say that we're going to get, some deeper retracements? Yeah. Is this going to happen? We'll see. But are we expecting prices to go higher? Absolutely. And this goes back to what we were looking at on a higher time frame. So on a monthly chart, if you look here, and we'll remove this arrow really quickly, that, there was a purpose and reason for why there was a pullback here. And that's because that is a big area of resistance. However, there is also bigger areas of resistance here at 120. So is that to say that, that's our ultimate goal, to see that area retested? Quite possible. Is it possible that this was our top? Maybe. Is it to say that this is still a bullish structure? Absolutely.